Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Colton, and today's video is actually going to go off of the last video I made, which was comparing 3 different cameras to see what the default color, saturation, and accuracy of those cameras are. And the reason for that sort of experiment was because I'm doing a candy art series, and in that series I do use a few different cameras to achieve different looks. And those cameras are wildly different from one another. So I wanted to see the default RAW file, how saturated is it, how color accurate is it, and that way I would be well informed when I go to use certain cameras and I go to edit those files. I'll know what adjustments to make to keep that candy art series uniform, to have a consistent voice across the series no matter which camera I use. So I think it's super helpful to be not only aware of how to use your camera, but what your default RAW files look like and what maybe adjustments you might need to make on one camera that you don't need to make on a different camera. So that was the premise of that sort of comparison, and the results were super interesting. There were definitely some things that I was not surprised by, but other things that I was a bit surprised and maybe even excited to see. But at the end of that video, and I will put a link to that in the description, as well as a card here in case you want to go see that video and then come back to this one, totally fine. But at the end of that video, I realized it would be kind of interesting to then fully edit those 3 files as closely as possible to see if I can achieve a uniform voice across those 3 images, and then to share those files with you guys here in this video and see if you can pick out which cameras belong to which images. If you can, then, you know, that might be a element that I'll have to consider. But if you can't, then maybe that means I successfully was able to edit those images in a way where they sort of become one voice instead of 3 separate voices based on the camera that I used. So what I did was I edited them as close as possible just in Lightroom. No major adjustments, no Photoshop, just some basic adjustments to the images. And then I did crop them to fit as closely the same sort of field of view as possible, and also put them all into square format so that the size of the image wouldn't give away the sensor that it's associated with. So I think these are as close as, you know, fairly reasonable. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put an A, B, and C assignment to each of them. I'll put them all together for you to see here in the video, and then I'll show each one individually with its letter associated with it, and then I'll show them all together once again. And in the comments below, you can take your best guess at which image belongs to which camera, and I will respond to everyone and let you know if you got it right. And I think it'd just be an interesting experiment, you know, fully fulfilling this comparison that I started in the previous video. So without further ado, here's the images. All right, so those are the images. Let me know in the comments below which camera you think produced which images, A, B, and C, and then I'll respond and let you know if you got it right or if I successfully fooled you and created a singular uniform voice across all three images. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you liked the video, do give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, and that'll keep you in the know for when the next video drops. But for now, I'm Colton. I'll see you in the next one.